she started working in rehabilitation, and he started working with kids to give them, like, what they call prevention. Teach kids what they can do to get out of the street life and to get on their 2 feet and start,
Y pues ya que
start
encajaba,
making it.
ya que encajaba también nuestro trabajo, pues entonces el Señor permitió que nos casáramos para que uniéramos nuestros ministerios.
Pero nunca dijiste cuándo se conocieron.
Ya lo digo.
Ya.
Puedes decirlo, yo lo digo.
Sí. Ya están casados, están contando.
No. Él estaba trabajando en Cartagena al mismo tiempo que yo.
Pero ya habían conocido.
Sí, hacía 3 años.
Okay, so they're working in 2 different projects in Cartagena. Well, she jumped to where they got married. She never said that they had met. So I was saying, well, you didn't say anything about meeting. Where did you meet? So she said, well, at this time we'd already known each other for 3 years. And so then, whatever happened, and then they decided they wanted to get married.
Entonces en el año 2000 nos casamos, después de ya 3 años de habernos conocido, porque los dos éramos misioneros ahí en Jucum.
So after knowing each other for 3 years, they got married in the year 2000.
Y fue así como unimos los dos ministerios y actualmente trabajamos en el área de prevención y de rehabilitación.
And so we pulled the 2 ministries together, and we're still working in the same 2 areas. We specialize in these 2 areas, and we brought it all together, and we're working, and the ministry is expanded.
Quiero decir con esto que no sé si se puede traducir, pero se dice en Colombia, Dios da el paquete completo.
Yeah, but there's a saying that they have in Colombia that God gives us the complete package, or God gives us everything we need.
Y hasta aquí el Señor ha sido fiel con nosotros, hemos podido ver decenas de niños llegando a nuestra casa, ser rehabilitados, conocer a Jesús.
And so up until now, through God's provision and God placing us in the right place, we've seen literally dozens of kids come through that we have rehabilitated, and they've received Jesus, and their lives are completely changed.
Actualmente estamos trabajando más con los niños que se encuentran en dificultades de pobreza, de desnutrición.
And so right now our focus is on kids who have, many different problems, compounded problems for lack of money, malnutrition, and different things like that, very, very poor living conditions.
Y creemos que Dios ama a los niños.
And we know that God loves the children.
Creemos que Dios quiere obrar en la vida de cada uno de ellos.
And we believe that God wants to work in the lives of every child.
Y creemos también que Colombia va a cambiar porque los niños van a hacer cambios que impacten nuestra nación.
And we feel that one of the ways that Colombia is going to change is that the children are changing.
Sé que las
doing a work in
noticias que llegan de Colombia no son lo mejor, tal vez nos conocen por guerrilla y narcotráfico.
Maybe some of the things that you know about and have heard about Colombia are not the best things. You know that we have guerrilla warfare in our jungle, and we have drug trafficking and all this other stuff.
Pero mucho mejor cosas que esas están pasando en Colombia. Hay muchas personas que están conociendo a Jesús.
But there's also a lot of good things happening in Colombia. Lots of people get saved.
Y nosotros creemos que comenzaremos a escuchar cosas diferentes.
And we trust and we believe that the world one day will start hearing different news coming out of Colombia.
De que vale la pena invertir en los niños.
And so we're 100% convinced, and we believe that it's time well spent investing our lives and pouring ourselves out into the lives of these kids.
Levantarnos en los caminos de Dios, porque Él dice de que aún cuando ya sean mayores no se van a separar de Él.
And we believe in the verse about instructing the child in the way he should go, because when he is old he will not
Así que por eso en nuestra iglesia para niños estamos dando el mismo mensaje de Dios, pero utilizando muchos métodos que sean atractivos para que a los niños les llame mucho la atención.
So in our children's church, we preach the same message that y'all hear, but we use many methods that appeal to the children, and they can learn what we know on their level, and we have found many effective ways of teaching.
Y hoy podemos ver nuestros niños allí en la iglesia adorando al Señor, sirviéndole con ganas de hacer mucho en su obra.
And we see many of our children in the children's church worshiping the Lord in the services, and they're serving the Lord, and many of them have a desire to give their life over to the service of the Lord.
Aún ya algunos que han pasado la edad, porque recibimos de 9 a 12 años, Hemos abierto el grupo de adolescentes porque no queremos soltarlos hasta que ya no sean adultos firmes, responsables, que sigan de la mano de Dios.
Now we've had to expand our group because we started with children, and now those children are growing up, so now we have an adolescent group.
Entonces, así es como vamos ahora. Mi esposo viene para seguirles contando la
Okay, so my husband's going to share a little bit with you. Okay.
Bonsoir, chers frères et sœurs. Buenas noches,
Lost me
queridos.
there, brother.
Buenas noches, queridos hermanos y
Oh, he's
hermanas.
speaking in French. Y'all didn't even know it.
Aprovecho porque el pastor habló de las naciones.
And I'll take advantage of the fact that the pastor was talking about all the different languages and all the different nations that are represented here. This, vas a explicarlo.
Yo, bueno, también muchas gracias por recibirnos esta noche. Es un real privilegio para nosotros estar aquí.
Well, we really like to say thank you for receiving us tonight. It's a great privilege to be here with you all.
Yo me siento una persona muy privilegiada porque vengo de una nación donde el evangelio es muy difícil.
I feel privileged tonight and feel privileged in my life because I come from a country where the gospel is not very well received.
Bueno, mis padres son españoles, pero yo nací y me crié en Francia.
My parents are Spanish, they're from Spain, but I was born and raised in France.
Y en Francia el evangelio es de verdad muy, muy difícil.
And in France, sharing the gospel or doing anything that has to do with raising up a church is very, very difficult.
Y por la gracia de Dios, desde pequeñito yo tuve una relación con Jesús. Yo siempre creí en Él y sabía que estaba conmigo.
But somehow, since I was very young, God started speaking to my life and opened up my heart, and I had a relationship with the Lord since I was very young.
Pero la primera vez que me compartieron el evangelio tenía 25 años.
But the first time they really shared the gospel of salvation with me is when I was 25 years old.
Y era mi jefe de ventas.
And it was my boss in this sales thing I was in this company. He started sharing with me.
Un día me preguntó, él no me había compartido nada, pero un día me preguntó que cómo me iba tan bien en mi trabajo, en mis ventas. Y yo le dije que era porque Jesús vendía por mí.
And he asked me one day, he said, you know, you sell more than anybody. He said, how come you sell so much here in the company? And he answered, he says, well, it's because Jesus does it for me.
Entonces ahí le abrí la puerta para que él me comparta el evangelio.
And so he started talking to me about Jesus and about salvation.
De ahí, después, yo no sabía que existían iglesias cristianas evangélicas que no fueran católicas.
And because of where I came from, I did not have the concept of what a New Testament church was. I'd never seen one or heard of one. The only thing I knew about was the Catholic Church.